Well, there you all are. My name is Rick Ferrin, and I'm coming to you from right up here, the apostate capital of the world, we say. Well, it's right outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and boy, we are in good company. We got lots of apostates up here in New England. But anyways, I wanted to have a special program today. I wanted to address an issue that I've been kind of working with here for the last couple of months, really. And then I'll get into that issue, and then we'll even open the lines up. We'll have people, if they want to make some comments, they can do that as well. But anyways, I just want to fill you in. I was at the hospital early this morning, very early. I just got home an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Susan is in the hospital. She was having a rough time last night. I know people were watching our broadcast last night. They saw me getting up and going back and forth. I didn't know what to do. I thought I had to rush her off last night. She has a very, very high blood pressure, high pulse. So she kind of wanted to hang in a little bit, which she did, but this morning just got too high. So I had to bring it actually by ambulance to the hospital. So that's where I was this morning, but she's doing a little better now. They're looking for infection. They may be causing the high blood pressure. So they got to run all kinds of monitors. So pray for her, and we hope that Susan will be better. Well, anyways, you know me as Rick Ferrin, and I have to tell you, I am the founder of the network of former Jehovah's Witnesses, where we all openly expose the Watchtower in real time. Well, you folks know it as right here. You see the logo. As a matter of fact, that's the Six Screens Telenetwork, as we call it. Now, that encompasses a lot of you people on YouTube and Facebook. Well, what that encompasses, you'll see that up on the right-hand corner of a number of programs coming across YouTube. That is a little insignia showing these programs are part of the Six Screens Telenetwork. And you say, well, what is that? Well, we have a number of former Jehovah's Witnesses who have volunteered their services and skills and abilities to be able to come on and talk to people about all of the disgusting things that go on behind the curtain of the Watchtower. So first and foremost, I want to thank everyone who has ever had a participation in having a program on the Six Screens. We have been now broadcasting for just about 18 years. It'll be 18 years, January 26, 2024. And we have hosted over 5,000 programs. Now, a number of these programs can be heard on Rick Ferrin's SoundCloud. They can also be heard in the YouTube archives under our channel, Rick Ferrin Watchtower. Friends, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm going to tell you, I have never missed a Saturday night. And in 18 years, I've never missed a Saturday night. I've been here every Saturday night. And it's because you are here. Yeah, you are here. And no matter where I was on a Saturday night, whether I was in the hospital, not me, but with my wife, Susan, we were in Johns Hopkins Hospital on 2 occasions where we actually, when she was in there for 2 weeks, we actually did our broadcast from Maryland, the Johns Hopkins Hospital. We've done our broadcast twice up here from Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. And we've also done our broadcast from a number of hotels all over the eastern part of the United States, including Cedar Point, Ohio, right where the first convention was, or one of the early conventions of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, many people have come here. Let me get this out of the way for you so you can at least see me. But that's the network. That's the insignia you see. But many people, they have suggested that the Six Screens is like a giant therapy session. A number of people have mentioned that to me, and they say they've been helped after leaving the cult. And a dozen people attributed the Six Screens to saving their lives from suicide. Can you imagine that? Now, it's just not me. I'm not taking the credit for all of this. All of these people that have participated in their own programs here on the Six Screens, they have all been instrumental in helping you folks to get out of the watchtower and to be able to assimilate into the real world. Now, this all started, like I say, 18 years ago. And what it was a man was watching us on YouTube. Now, YouTube, as we know, has a lot of people. Let me just see who this is calling here. Hold on 1 second, folks. Got to just get this call to hospital. Hello? Oh, that's me. Yep. I'm doing good, thank you. In fact, hold on, folks. We'll be right back in a minute. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, go ahead. I'll just talk to some people. Yep.
I'm sure Rick will be right back. We hope it's good news. He's dealing with so much. Everybody else still waiting? Yeah, we're waiting in rain. I'm so glad. I just worry about Rick and Susan. I'm waiting. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging in there. What was that? I'm sending good thoughts. I'm sending good thoughts. That's all I can. All good energy is helpful. No, it's good. It's good. Energy goes a long way, a very long way. There's it's not really loud.
Okay, I made it back. I made it back. All right.
Yay.
All right. Sorry for the delay. That was just the doctor at the hospital. But anyway, Susan, they might have to keep her in there. So, it's been a lot of pressure. When you have a sick mate, it really can create some anxiety. And last night I was feeling it. I was feeling it on our program. And we had people calling in, and they were, in many respects, being disrespectful, very disrespectful. I'm trying to deal with my wife, Susan, who was not doing well. In the meantime, people were calling in and actually badgering me. There was one man that called in, and he's a Jehovah's Witness study. He's not a Jehovah's Witness yet, but he's been studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he had some questions. But, he was attacked by people. And I've talked to him personally, and he's a legit man. He just wanted some questions, but it got into a big free-for-all. And people, I told the man that I would study the Bible with him a few weeks ago. So I was questioned last night. Well, why haven't you studied the Bible with him yet? You had 3 weeks to do it. Friends, let me tell you something. I still work. I'm 75 years old. I have a sign business. I still work in that business. I have a wife that is needing a lot of care right now. I also run the only ex-witness network that I know of, where it takes a lot of time to put these programs together and work with people and bring people on to have their programs. So, it kind of ticked me off a little bit with all the other anxiety that was going on, and at the same time being challenged by people that I don't know why they would do that. This is what really is concerning me in the ex-witness world. Friends, we're all, I'm going to use the term brother and sisters, aren't we? To some degree, I don't know what else to call you. Many people have fictitious names. You don't use your real name. I give really a pat on the back for all of you ex-witnesses that use your real name. You're not afraid of the Watchtower. Now, I know there's extenuating circumstances where you can't, but I'm not hiding from the Watchtower. But I just cannot believe the turmoil that is taking place in the ex-Jehovah's Witness world. Well, what is that all about? Why is it that ex-witnesses are picking on each other? This isn't, some type of a game we're playing. I don't understand why this happens. But boy, we sure do get picked on here at the Six Screens. But anyways, I got thinking last night as I went to bed, I kind of mentioned that, we're going to make some changes here in the Six Screens, and it could even be possible that the Six Screens could disappear. I did mention that. Now, I went to bed and I got thinking, when you did something 18 years ago and you're wondering, how this all happened and why it happened, then you start putting two and two together and reconsidering some thoughts. The whole Six Screens idea started from a man that was watching one of my first YouTube videos. It now has just about 1 million views. It was the first time ever in the history of the ex-witness world that this fellowshipping judicial committee hearing was taped. And I had that playing, and people were watching it like crazy and listening to it. As a matter of fact, we were one of the very first. And when I went on YouTube years ago, there was only not even a handful of other ex-witnesses. So I was on YouTube for a while, then went to Facebook, but now we're back on YouTube a lot, and it's really working. And all of a sudden, something's working here at the Six Screens. More and more people are leaving the Watchtower, and they're coming in. So I just wanted to give you a little history. This man was watching us on YouTube years ago when we first started, and he just got this fellowship. He lived in Florida, and he just got this fellowship, and his wife wouldn't talk to him. His mother, who he loved, wouldn't talk to him, and he was going to go home and kill himself. So he got into bed and he was getting ready to kill himself. And he just put in disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness in Google. And all of a sudden it brought him to YouTube. And it brought him to me, saying that I was disfellowshipped and there's life after the watchtower. He was so impressed with that he didn't commit suicide. And he wanted to come visit me. He got a hold of me on my YouTube channel, and he came all the way up from Florida as quick as he possibly could. He flew up here the next weekend, and he spent a weekend with us. And he says, Rick, you saved my life. And he became a good friend. And he was the one that really told us about starting a conference call where because he was in business. He was a big time businessman as well. And he said, Rick, here, get involved with a conference call. Have people call in from the ex-Jehovah's Witness world, all over the world to call in. And so he says, do it. So I started it then, and it was my former wife and I that started putting this all together. And right in the very beginning of our program, our mission, see, you want to do things with a mission. And our mission was to expose the dangerous and destructive cult, the Watchtower. Now, when we first started the program, it was only on the telephone. And we weren't even sure that there were people listening in. My wife and I would talk, and then I would talk, and I'd go on sometimes talking for hours. My wife would say, is anybody listening into this? And I'd say, I don't know. I think they might. They just might be afraid to speak up. Well, slowly, the little network connected with a lot of people. And they all began, many of them started listening in. They never listened in before, and were just on the phone line. And we could all sit around. It was like sitting around a campfire or sitting around your coffee table. We could all speak up and give each other turns. So we call it the conference call. It's almost impossible to do that today because of the volume of people calling in. But people really loved what they saw here for the first time in the ex-Jehovah's Witness world, that people could now talk in real time. So I know that was a winner. I knew right off the bat, but people wanted to talk in real time. People that have been disfellowshipped, people that think about committing suicide, people that have just been hurt by the Watchtower. To be able to talk in real time could be very meaningful. So as the years progressed along, we added additional programs to our little network. And remember, we added a program called Dialogue. And we had a man by the name of Richard Rowie. And I have to tell you, 18 years ago, Richard Rowie was the world's biggest apostate of the Watchtower. No question about it. One of the first and the biggest. The Watchtower hated Richard Rowie, and he had a program on our network, and poor Richard died. And then we had the Hen's Pen. Yes, and you all remember Marilyn Marsh, and what a real beautiful woman she was. And that's where we call it the Hen's Pen, because that's where we just allowed the chicks to come in and chat. So it was all women chatting. And then we had a program called Victims Speak Out. And it was actually hosted by a woman named Mary Aguilera. And she had a really strong New York accent. And she was actually a star on the Sopranos TV program. And she had a program on our Six Screens network. So as the years continued to progress, we continued to add more programs to our little network, and more people began to listen in. Now, the Six Screens have hosted close to 200 unique programs in the last 18 years. You remember JW World News. We did that years ago. And I had a good friend, an ex-witness, his name was Joe Mason, and he died as well. And Joe would work with me on the program, and both of us would go back and forth with all the latest that was going on in the Watchtower. And then we had a program called Jehovah's Underground. And this was actually a program that was held by an active Bethelite. And he used to go to a coffee shop outside of Bethel, 25 Columbia Heights in Brooklyn. And he did his program from a little coffee shop. And he would tell the people what was going on in the Watchtower. People didn't believe him. People didn't believe him at all, because nobody ever did this before. People couldn't believe that a real Bethelite would actually come in and talk. So he was challenged all the time. We called him Johnny the Bethelite. And Johnny, he was straight up. He told us many things that happened before it happened. He started talking about the cart witnessing work before we even knew what a cart was. He talked about the gray goose, the new gray silver Bible the Watchtower came out with. He talked about kiddie porn in the Watchtower, sexual problems in the Watchtower. People didn't hear this, so we got branded as being too sensational. Oh, you guys are making this stuff up to get people watching in. No, it was all real stuff. And then we had programs, for example, Watchtower Behind Closed Doors. You might remember that program. That was held by a man who's dead as well. His name was Mark Palo, and he was actually, as a young man, 8 years old, he was molested by which he claims who was Leo Greenlees, a known pedophile in the Watchtower organization. And then we had Josh Rivera coming out of New York with his Watchtower Cult Survivors program. And then we had a program coming in from London, England with Breakfast with the Bereans. Well, that was Mark and Cora Latham, and they came on every Sunday morning. And then we have a program, it's still running to this day, called Making Disciples with Jay Hess. It gives you all the answers to your Bible questions. And then we had the twins. Remember the twins, the Late Night with the Twins. And they were wonderful. Sheila Passenger, she actually was the moderator of the program. She died as well. So we have a lot of people that have died, that have done programs for the six screens, and we appreciate their efforts because they've helped so many people leave the clutches of the Watchtower. And how about Larry John Wayne, Late Night with the Duke? Yes, indeed. He would come on and burn the midnight oil every Saturday night, and he'd bring you up to speed on his understanding of how evil the Watchtower is. And then one of the very first programs we had, the Upper Room Ministry House Church. And that was every other Sunday right here. That program continues to this day. Now, more recent, as we continue to move forward, and like I said, we've had just about 200 unique programs here on the six screen. So, that takes a lot of effort for people to put it together, and we appreciate all the effort that all of the people have put into their programs. Many of them researched for hours. Sometimes people didn't have a chance to research, but their personality, the way they conducted themselves, they kept an audience in. So the more recent programs, we have Watchtower Inside of Barbara Anderson Tells All. Well, Barbara Anderson is a legend. She's probably the biggest name in the world of the apostates there is, and she wanted to have a program on the six screens. I didn't have to coax her. She feels this is one of the only places where you're going to get the truth. So when Barbara Anderson endorses a program like the six screens, you know there is something to that. And then how about our program, Bloodlines of the Illuminati, with Fritz Springmeier? Where are you going to get Fritz to come on? I mean, Fritz is a legend too. And he talks all about the world that's coming up, the new reset. He talks about how the Watchtower was involved with the Illuminati and the powers to be. Then the Big Picture program with Jimmy Bell out of North Carolina. And he had a program similar, talking about what's going to happen in the future with the Watchtower as well as other things. And then, of course, Apostle Babe, Linda James, with her Healing After the Watchtower program. Red Pill by the Watchtower with Eric out of Nashville, Tennessee. And also the Christian Court, which is one of our newer programs. Of course, one participating in that is Scott Walton. He even has a program on Sundays, Knowing God After Leaving the Watchtower. So there you have all these programs, this more. I'm not going to go into them all. And then we had some special programs. Apostates Got Talent. Remember that? We had all these apostates that we put together. They came on YouTube and they sang and they read poetry. And there's a lot of talented ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. And then we had our annual Watchtower Trivia Night. And that was so fun, and people were winning prizes. And we also, besides these broadcasts we did on Saturday night, we also had special live programs doing different things. For example, just within the last couple of years, with the Watchtower trying to build a big video studio in Ramapo, New York meeting. They had a meeting up there, and I showed up online. We broadcast that live. I was trying to stop the people from allowing Watchtower to build in Ramapo. Didn't work. Nobody wanted to listen to me. And then we've done Memorial Night protests live. I take all the equipment with me and the cameras, and we do it live from the Wilmington Kingdom Hall in Wilmington, Massachusetts. And we've broadcasted from regional conventions, as well as the big protest we had back in 2017 up in Warwick, New York, along with the the vast apostate army. Remember that? We had 54 people show up, and they protested right in front of the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses in Warwick, New York. So a lot of things have taken place here in the last 18 years. As a matter of fact, people have even been married by meeting one another on the 6 screens. That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, I even met my wife, Susan. She was a listener listening in from Chicago, and I met her on the program. And this is after my former wife died, and then I needed a helper. So I met Susan on our radio program. She came here she really loved the 6 screens, and she came here, and we fell in love, and we got married. And there's even people listening in here today that have got married because of listening into the 6 screens. But what about Dick Borgie and Constance Noonan? They're a married couple now. And we have a number of other people too. I'm not even going to get into it. But there's been other marriages as well. But people made friends. They've made a lot of friends here on the 6 screens. And they call each other. They form like a little network of friends that they met, that they never had. Eric out of Nashville, Tennessee, relatively new to the 6 screens. And him and his wife living down there have been shunned by their family. The witnesses have nothing to do with them. But Eric and his wife have met so many new friends, he tells me, and they're talking to them all day long and building them up. That's what happens here. This is a community. The 6 screens just isn't another YouTube video. Even though I'm not knocking YouTube videos, many of them are so good. But I'm saying this isn't just an audience. The 6 screens just isn't an audience. The 6 screens is a community. And it's been going now for 18 years. And some of our hosts and even some of our callers, as we mentioned, have died. Sheila Passenger, Late Night with the Twins. James Walton, he was a listener all the time listening in. Joe Mason, Jerry Jones. Well, my goodness, these people, Richard Rowie, Mark Paulo, and many more that have died. And we certainly appreciated them coming on and doing the programs and commenting. Now, I mentioned earlier some Christian programs, right? You heard Christian programs. Rick, what are you, a Christian? Yep, I am. I'm not ashamed of it. I think by now most of you guys know that I'm a Christian man. And as you all know, I don't preach to you on Saturday night, do I? I don't preach to you guys, and I told you that because I know it doesn't work. A lot of the people listening into the 6 screens on Saturday night, they have been so spiritually abused that they don't want anything to do with religion. So many former Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't want anything to do with Christianity, anything, but that's okay. So that's why I say it's the no preach zone. On Saturday night, we don't preach. But we do have a Sunday program. And on Sunday, if anyone wants to come in on Sunday, we do discuss scriptures and we discuss theological teachings. I mean, after all, friends, the Watchtower is a counterfeit Christian organization. We all know that. And those listening on Sunday, that they want to really see where the Watchtower falsehoods are. And that's what we do on Sunday. But I don't preach to you on Saturday night. And I'm not even saying that, oh, you got to become a Christian. You got to believe what I believe. I don't do that to you. I don't do it to you. But that's one reason why we have got kind of tainted in the world of the ex-witness. Many ex-witnesses don't like Christians. I'll say it again. Many ex-Jehovah's Witnesses do not like Christians. The ex-witness world has two camps. The non-believer camp. Yes, there's plenty of ex-witnesses that are non-believers. I'm not picking on them. Many of them are my friends. They're atheists. They're non-believers. They don't want anything to do. But that doesn't mean I have to disconnect them and not talk to them and be their friend. And then there's also the Christian camp. So we got the two camps. We got the non-believer camp, and then we got the Christian camp. Now, it has been estimated that only 20% of those leaving the Watchtower become Christians. Did you know that? Only 20% of those leaving the Watchtower become Christians. That means 80% don't want anything to do with God. And that fascinates me. I'm not going to preach even here today, but I'm just going to give you my feelings. This is one thing that keeps me awake at night. Now, listen, we were all Jehovah's Witnesses, and I was a Jehovah's Witness. I wanted to learn about God. I wasn't there for the get-togethers. I wasn't there to be given a title. I wasn't there so I could have friends, even though I did. I was there because I wanted to learn about God. And that's what surprises me. How is it that so many people could go to a Kingdom Hall, which is supposed to be a godly place, and learn about God, but as soon as they find out the Watchtower is a fraud, they throw the baby out with the bathwater, as the old saying goes. So they throw God out with the Watchtower. So many Christians have been disliked who have YouTube channels, who promote on forums. The ex-witness world is not like that. But that's okay. That's all right. In time, maybe it will settle down a little bit. But so I'm being accused of being a Christian, which also gets people riled up and will get on our program and create issues. Now, the other thing is, many fellow apostates have accused the six screens of sensationalizing and making up false narratives. Some have said we deliberately plan and orchestrate our programs, arranging them for people to come in and argue to bring up our ratings. Friends, I have never done that. See, we get accused of that. When you're doing a live program, and we were the first and one of the only still to this day, that we're the only ones that do a live program with unscreened people calling in. So when you do that, you're really opening yourself up for lots of attack. But also these people will challenge us and say that, this is when people get into an argument. They say, oh, Rick, that's just to get your ratings up, because sometimes controversy works. And I've seen that here in the six screens. When there's a big argument going on, the numbers go up. I don't know if these people are calling one another or what, but some of the most listened to programs we ever had on the six screen are when people argue. But that's not my mission. That's not my plan. I don't sit here and orchestrate for people to come in and be abusive. So there has been an ongoing love-hate relationship with the six screens of the Watchtower. But through the years, we're still here. We're still here. And believe me, we had to put up with a lot of criticism, even threats. I've had my life threatened, and outrageous pranks that have taken place here in the last 18 years, including a SWAT team showing up on August 31st, 2021 at my house. Some prankster called, whether it was Watchtower or whoever it was, called the police where I live here in Massachusetts, and they told the police that I was holding my wife hostage. A SWAT team showed up at my door pointing a rifle right at the door and ordered me to open it. That was during one of our broadcasts. So, and I've mentioned these people are trolls. These people are Watchtower operatives. And you say, well, Rick's doing that for sensationalism. The Watchtower is not going to do it. You better believe they do it. But anyways, that's what I wanted to say. So I wanted to make a couple of announcements here. As of late, you start off a little thing. It's like a snowball rolling down the hill, right? It starts off little, and then it becomes very, very big. And it's like you have a tiger you're holding by the tail. You get a little tiger, and he grows up to be a big monster. Well, that's basically what's happened here at the 6 screens. All of a sudden, our callers have multiplied exponentially. I mean, hundreds of people have been trying to call in. In fact, I'm in emails all the time that, Rick, I tried again, I can't even get into your call anymore. That wasn't always the case. People could come and go, and it was kind of like a quaint little town. But now the town has grown, and we get all these callers coming in, and they're coming in from all over the world. So in the last couple of weeks, you noticed 2 weeks ago, we had a big uproar on the 6 screens. We had Selena Vertolomo. Remember her? Well, she came in and she talked on the 6 screens about child trafficking in the Watchtower and what have you. And, you know, I challenged her on some of this, and geez, people beat me up big time. Why would you challenge her, Rick? I mean, when she's saying things like, you know, babies are being killed in the Watchtower, and it's happening pretty common in 80,000 places that Jehovah's Witnesses control, I'm having a hard time with that. So I just wanted to ask her some questions, and geez, people jumped on my back because I did. And then, of course, Reese came in and he started, you know, giving us some static, and it really was outrageous. And then last night on our late night program, here's what happens, friends. I'm up many mornings on Saturday at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up, I have coffee, I have breakfast, and then I go about my day preparing JW World News. What do you think? That just falls in your lap? And I know there's other people on YouTube too that do these news stories. It's work. It just doesn't. No, here I am, read the script and do it. You got to look this up. You got to make sure it's factual. You got to make sure what you're talking about at least has some sense to it, and put it into some type of a narrative that you can come on and talk for a couple hours. So it takes a lot of work putting JW World News together, as it does for people doing other programs too. But anyways, the late night program has created some issues. Like I say, I'm up early in the morning, 4 o'clock many days, and then I'm up till, you know, very late at night, because programs would start at even 11 p.m. I mean, not start, but we had programs coming on that late, and they would roll all the way over until Sunday morning. So I get no sleep at all for a good 18, 25 hours. So I'm dead tired. And then we have all this commotion that would be showing up late at night. And I'm not in any way blaming the broadcasting moderators here. It's not their fault, but people would take advantage of the late night coming in and really ridiculing and scoffing and swearing and just making a real fiasco, picking on people, condemning people. So enough is enough. So what we are doing here at the 6 screens is, last night was the last night that we're going to have late night programs. That's it. Our 6 screens programming now is going to end at about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that'll end. And we're going to do better programming. I'm going to put an effort to really make better programming and put it in place. So the late night program that we've had since our inception really is now coming to an end. We will not have the late night program. It has nothing to do with the host. They've done a good job, and I want to thank them for coming in, but I'm not going to have people put a lot of work into what they're doing to have them come on and be ridiculed. That you got to put a stop to it. So the late night program will no longer be on the 6 screens of the Watchtower. Whether in time we ever get another late night program, I'm not sure, but we'll just take one day at a time. So that is Watchtower After Dark. It is no longer going to be a program on the 6 screens of the Watchtower. And then we have got the video suite. Well, that has been a problem from day one. And I'm not picking on particular people or anyone in particular on the video suite. But the video suite has been a source of aggravation. I can't hear. I can't see. And they're writing back and forth all the time. Nothing really to do with the program. And that platform costs me a serious over $300 a year just to have it. So I'm thinking, gee, for what really goes on in there and what I have to put up with in there and make sure it's up. It takes me time to set all of this. I've got 7 computers in my little computer room here, my little media center. You can't see it all. But, just trying to bring these programs together with the telephone line, the video suite, YouTube, Facebook. So there's a lot of effort that goes into this. So we are going to discontinue the 6 screens video suite. We've had that up and running for 15 years, and it's no longer going to be in existence. We give it about 2 weeks. It might go to 3, but the video suite will be discontinued. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have, you got YouTube to go to, but also we're going to have a new suite that is going to enable people in the suite to be able to call in through their computer. So I'm trying to get people in the suite to call in. Some do, but many don't. I want them to participate more. So the 6 screens, the new video suite coming up, and we'll make announcements this coming Saturday. We'll make announcements and give you some links on how you can get into the new 6 screens video suite. Friends, that's our own little private network, and anybody can join it. If you go to 6screensofthewatchtower.com, yes, you'll see right on the front page how to get in the 6 screens video suite. It's very easy, but we're going to have new links. My technician here, we've been working on, we are revamping the 6 screens of the Watchtower website right now, so that we're going to bring it up to speed. It's old, and it was the only ex-witness coded site. We're not doing code anymore. I want to make it more popular. I want to bring it more up to date. I want to share some of the most current things that are going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. So anyways, I did want to say, so that's it. So no late night program, that is done. The video suite will be discontinued in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And we do have a brand new program starting next Saturday night at 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a Spanish man. His name is Ephraim, and he's going to be coming on. He was a guest on Barbara Anderson's program, and he's going to have a program entirely in Spanish at 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Saturday. So that's going to bring some Spanish people in, and then Barbara Anderson comes on right after him. So we'll get some Spanish people coming in to our broadcast, which will be good. So that's about what's happening. I'm looking at also some other programs that we may be kind of rearranging. But right now, everything seems like it's going to be in place. So I got thinking a lot last night, and I got thinking, I've even had people that said, Rick, we'll take the 6 screens over. So that's good to know. I mean, someday somebody's going to have to take it over, right? I mean, I'm 75 years old, but I did get to some people. As a matter of fact, it's a movie company, a film company, and they contacted me from the United Kingdom, and I didn't even know they were listening in last night. But they said they were listening in. It's a film company, and they produce films, and they said they're very interested in, if we give this up, that they would take it. So I sent them in a questionnaire about was he ever a witness and all of this. So we're going to see how that happens. But if we do decide in the future, as I'm getting older, that, we're not going to do this anymore, this person who wrote me said they have the technical skills to be able to do this. So we're going to see what happens. So for the time being, you're going to still see the 6 screens on Saturday night. And I just want to tell everyone, too, come in and be civil. Don't come in and fight and argue and curse. That's not going to help the Jehovah's Witnesses. So please, it's all of us be able to come in and be sane. So I'm going to open up the lines. I know people do have, some questions they probably want to ask. So it wouldn't be proper for me just to say, okay, fine, let it go. But I want people to come in and talk. So go ahead. I guess we have Anne-Marie. Come on in, Anne-Marie.
Rick, I just applaud. Go ahead.
Dick, we'll let Anne-Marie go first, and we'll bring you on. Go ahead, Anne-Marie.
Oh no, thank you, Dick. Thank you, Rick. Rick, my husband and I have been worried about you for a long time because maybe you have taken so much from so many ill-mannered, childish, immature people overreacting, chastising, criticizing, fighting, arguing, name-calling, criticizing, judging, dividing people. If somebody has an opinion and the group is on the other side, then the person that has an opposing opinion, even if they say it gently and nicely, if you got jumped all over and what's wrong with you? And, it's amazing, simple manners, and Miss Brother Rick, you are amazing, and I thank you. We thank you. My husband thanks you, and I am very, very thankful for this program that you're putting on, kind of giving an overview of what you have done, what you have been trying to do, what you've been putting up with while trying to take care of your beautiful wife. Thank you so much, my brother. I am so glad to hear that you're getting rid of the suite, because I gave up trying to be on that suite, because all they seem to do is talk with each other and have private conversations, and they break in your show. We can't hear, we can't see, and there's this big problem, and it just disrupts what you're trying to do, which is a cohesive show. Thank you so much, my brother.
Well, you're very welcome, Emery. Thank you very much for checking in with us. All right, let's go to 603. It looks like New Hampshire. Go ahead, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I just want to say that I will miss the late night conversations, but you are 100% correct. It has been getting way out of hand. People were way judgmental. Last night was not very good. I was not impressed at all. So I understand and appreciate what you are doing, and I appreciate and understand your reason for not doing that anymore, because really, it's hard for you to stay awake and keep everybody in line, and I will miss it, but I also understand and will not miss the bullshit.
Well, thank you for saying that, Tom. Now, look, that doesn't mean I'm not going to start up another late night program. But the person who has the late night program will have to learn some technical skills. They're going to have to understand how the phone line works so they can mute people. They're going to have to understand how they're going to have to have a speakerphone that will actually be able to speak into the YouTube feed and the Facebook feed. There's a little, anyone can learn it. I'm not Bill Gates. Anyone can learn it, but it takes time and it takes effort. And if we can find someone in the future that's willing to take the time and effort and can just let me get out of here at 11 o'clock at night and then turn it over to them, and they can do all the technical stuff as well as kicking people off that are irate, then I'm going to be open to that. So I'll be working on that as well. So it might be only a matter of time, and you'll see another program come on at night. So let's see what happens there, Tom. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Let's go with. Looks like Dick Boogie. Go ahead, Dick.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I'd just like the audience to know a few things. Last night's debacle was really horrible. People come on and they think that you owe them an explanation for why you don't conduct, or you haven't conducted, a Bible study with somebody. Who do some of these people think they are? I'd like the audience to know, because I've had a really close relationship with you and Six Screens. And, for 20 years, you've been a caretaker for two very sickly wives. That's a full-time job in itself. Then you turn around and you give the Watchtower, casting a bright light into the Watchtower. And you've done it for 18 years. You have to do a lot of research. You have to take a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and put together a really a good program that people will want to listen to. The Watchtower is a scam. It hurts a lot of people. You personally have helped a lot of people, and I certainly do know what I'm talking about, because, before I met you, I was in a state of depression. I lost my kids. I lost my house, my wife. All my friends didn't talk to me. And, I mean, I knew I did something wrong, but the penalty in the watchtower is devastating. In the Catholic Church, you tell a priest and you give some prayers to say, and it's over. But the watchtower continues to always punish you. Another thing that really can't be overstated is you're not making a cent on this, not a penny. You're the only preacher I've ever heard of telling people, don't send me money. It's you. You've made my life so much better just knowing you. I mean, my life is wonderful, and that's all because of 6 screens. I got a wonderful bride, live in a beautiful home. I don't have any monkeys on my back. I'm not dealing with depression. And you not only did that for me, you've done that for hundreds of people. And because you don't pat yourself on the back, but I know that's true. I absolutely know it's true. And I get irate when people call up and give you a hard. People can have a difference of opinion. Last month, Rick had a different opinion with you, but people come on and they act like they have to be right. We're going to argue with you. It always annoys me to no end when you're talking and somebody jumps on there. They never let you finish your talk. There has to be some form of decorum on 6 screens. And I know you've got to switch to cut some people off. It just annoys me when the theme is once I was a fraud, once I was a liar, and people are just commenting on, I got the beard, he's stroking it or something. It's stupid stuff. It has no business being on 6 screens. We want to find out about, the frauds the watchtower is, the scams that they pull off. That's what we're interested in. We're not interested in if someone's learning the English language better, over 6 screens. I mean, that's personal stuff. It doesn't, if you want a channel and you want to talk about baseball, there's a baseball channel, and somebody calls up and he wants to talk about hockey. Say, this is about baseball. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but some people come on and they get crazy with the stuff they come up with. And the fighting and the arguments and cutting people off when they're speaking, especially if the wife find it annoying that, I've already said it once, but, you're talking, they just cut right, thinking that what they have to say is far more important than you. And I firmly believe there is not another person in the world, not even Barbara Anderson, that knows as much about the watchtower and how they operate than you. So people should listen, keep their mouth shut. Sure, you can call up with a comment or ask a question, but just calling up just to argue, just to let everyone know how smart you are. And that doesn't really fly. I could go on forever. I just think people should be a heck of a lot more appreciative of you and should be a lot more courteous when they come on 6 screens and then just arguing and talking over each other and cutting people off. That's not polite. You've got a gracious host and people come on to your program that you started, and they act up. I think you think it's terrible. I can rant and rave for another half hour on this, but I'm going to shut up and let somebody else talk.
All right. Well, thank you, Dick. Thanks very much. In fact, don't build me up too much because my drug dealer will want more money, Yes.
If I could add to Dick's comment, this is Eric.
Yeah.
If I could add to Dick's comment and just say that, you've brought a lot to me too, and I'm not trying to just praise you, build you up, but it's an honest thing. You really have given me. I just want to say thank you for giving me a spot and giving me friends. You know, I have nothing for here. And I appreciate all the sacrifice and things that you've done. Like I told you in private conversation, I know like a 32nd of, or a 64th, if you will, of what you go through. Just a little bit of work that I do for the show, and I know others too. And you do so much more, and you've been dedicated to this for so long, and I thank you for your service.
Well, thank you, Eric. And, you know, you'll have a future here with the Six Screens. I'll be in touch. We'll be talking more. So thank you, though, for chiming in. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Alrighty. So who wants to come on next? We have, it looks like, let's go to 906. 906, you're on with us.
Hello.
Yes, Ken.
Hello, Mr. Barron.
Yes.
Yes, thanks for taking my call again here. Yes, I've been listening to the Spectral program with interest. A lot of times I don't get a chance to listen to it on Sunday, and I'm just running around too busy. But I want to make some comments about what happened in the past and so forth, and especially, I'm not going to name the news stories by name because somebody's liable to get a brainstorm again. And I'm going to just put this way. People got upset because you ask questions about some news stories that come along that they didn't quite sound right and so forth. I'd like to inform the audience we only get a fraction here on what happened in the watchtower. There's so much that we're not going to ever hear about because a lot of stuff went in the past and a lot of the people passed away and so forth. And so we're not going to ever hear about that stuff. But listen, every time we get a news story on there and there's some questions, let's do some research on it. That would be the proper thing to do, and let's keep an open mind on that. And if we find out that it has merit, well, let's talk about it further. But if we can't find any other evidence or something like that, then let's not talk about it any further. See, because a couple of weeks ago, when somebody got bent out of shape there and angry because we didn't accept at face value what they said there, I mean, that's totally ridiculous. Because I pay attention to a lot of news and everything like that and so forth. And I do a lot of research on different news stories and all that. So if if everybody would cooperate in doing that, the program would be a lot better. And I want to thank you for trying to make some changes and some improvements in the Six Screens program. And I look forward to continually participate with the program and all that. And if I find any noteworthy news and all that that has merit, I definitely will call it to your attention. And I just hope that things will go along a lot better now.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Now, this is like a plateau. What we have to do is keep making adjustments. But the new Six Screens, where we're getting some new software in, we're getting some new video equipment here as well, sound equipment as well. So the new Six Screens has a bright, bright future. So thank you, Ken, for calling in. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, incidentally, Mr. Farron, I hope your wife gets better. I'm sorry to hear that you had to go in the hospital, but I hope that your wife gets better and my heart goes out to you. And just hope that she makes a speedy recovery.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ken. Appreciate it. All right, it looks like we're going to go over to, I think we got a pasta babe on with us. Hello, Linda.
Hi, Rick.
Yes.
Me a pasta babe, your favorite pasta.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I'm really glad you made the decision to drop the times that I have been on your show for a few years now. I think it's very wise. And yeah, I haven't been technically up to date, and that makes it to where it's tougher for you. So I think this was a wise decision that you've made, and it's not a bridge that's being burnt, you know. I don't see this as a burning bridge that, you know, we can't still be in touch. And, you know, if you need a fill in or something on another show, you can give me a call. But I could just start a show on my own channel, Apostle Linda James, about the same time. And it will start at October 1st. And I want it to be a compliment rather than us being in competition. You know, if you have a show at the same time, it can appear to be competition. But if I still stay about the same time as I usually have came on, you know, about that 9 o'clock hour of your time. sorry, the midnight hour of your time, 9 o'clock hour of my time, I think that it would be okay. You know, it would still be smooth. I think that it could be an okay switch, and it could be a compliment rather than a competition.
Yeah, no, that's that's nice you feel that way. And it's not, look, there's no such thing. I know some YouTubers have made things very competitive, but I look at anybody that's exposing the watchtower is my buddy. Anybody that's willing to get their gloves and put them on and get in the ring, they're fighting against the watchtower. I don't care. We got other people on here too. I see that Fixing Your Faith. He's a great guy. He does great videos. He can pick up and do some of this stuff. We got a lot of people, so we're all in this together. But as far as competition, there's no competition unless someone's making money with this. Then they're going to say, geez, you know, I don't want them taking money away. But we never monetized here to begin with, so I'm not going to feel that way. You've helped me a lot, Linda, and I appreciate it.
I just wanted to call in and say I support you, and that I'll be starting my channel, or I'll be starting a show on October 1st. I mean, in the first week of October, so that'll be on the 7th on my channel, Apostle Babe Linda James. So hopefully we can just keep supporting each other, promote each other's shows, and go from there. Because I think this is going to be better for you in your circumstances, and I'm going to find out how it's going to be even possibly better for me.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I think it will. You will be, because I think you can do very, very well. What happened is the 6 screens got such a vast audience that it got out of control. It got way out of control, and you and poor Eric have been getting beat up big time. I don't want to see that. So yeah. I think it's the best. All right. Well,
I consider it being quite chivalrous and being very standing up for me and everything. So thank you, Eric, for stepping up and being by my side over the last few weeks. I love you for that. Thank you.
Well,
so yeah, just wanted to say I support you.
Yeah.
And because I think this is going to be much better for your health and for Susan. So yeah, you're actually making a choice, and it's putting yourself first. And that is something we need to do as witnesses. You can't keep doing things at the expense of your own health, even if it's a good thing.
Well, it's wise counsel. You know, I started this, it was 20 years ago. It was a little bit different. But, you know, it's different doing something, say, at 55 at 55 versus 75. So it makes a difference. But thank you, Linda, for the kind words of encouragement. We got Gilbert Gonzalez. Gilbert, come on. You're on with us. I'll unmute you. Gilbert Gonzalez, you're on with us from Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah.
Hey, Rick. I'm glad Linda said first, but by doing that, by helping Linda have her own show, and then you may be directing people to her, say, hey, it's 9 o'clock, you know, go over here. What's happening, especially with your age, you're building up. And Jessica and I talked about this, and because I went live yesterday to kind of show people that you could do this too. It doesn't just have to be on the 6 screens. You know, you can do a show, and you can control, and you can moderate, and you can mute people and so forth. But the point is by doing this, like with you leave a legacy of empowering people. You've done it already, but you want to be able to have Linda be on her own. You want Eric to be on his own, and that's the example that we as apostates are different than the Jehovah's Witnesses. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't build another kingdom hall and say, Rick, why don't you take care of this kingdom hall? It's yours. They don't do that. It's always theirs. And by you helping other people stand on their own 2 feet, not only does it minimize your workload, but your joy comes in empowering everybody else. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, no, it does. That's how I feel. In fact, it's like said, television programs. Yeah. There's one TV program, then something spins off of that one because of its own program. That's a wonderful thing. And the more people we have exposing the watchtower, I mean, the better off. I don't care if there's 5,000 million apostates out there. The more the merrier, you know?
The last thing is this, you know, a lot of people are saying nice things about you, but the simple fact and the truth is that you do not have the ability, Rick, to help certain people. I don't either, you know, because we're male, our age, our upbringing, you know, our language, our culture. And that's exactly why what you said was right. the more people that are out there doing this same work, like Linda's show is called Healing After the Watchtower, the more we can help different people heal, because everyone is different and everyone has different, I can't help women, Rick. I'm not a woman, I'm a man. I can't. Women need to help the women. Men need to help the men, right? Teenagers need, or young adults need to help young adults. Senior citizens need to help senior citizens. That doesn't mean that we can't cross over sometimes, but that's why more people are needed in this fight. Like Jesus says, at the end, more workers are coming in. We need more of you get involved, because you can't do it, Rick. No matter what nice things people say about you, your hands in my hands. We're not Jesus. We're not all kings to all people.
There's only so much you can do, Gilbert. Only so much you can do. You know that. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I add on to that? It's me again.
Yep.
The organization would often talk about being in harmony, and what that meant within the organization was being on the same page and singing the same note. But truly, harmony is four or five, people singing different notes at the same time, and that is what harmony is. You and I have a different flavor that can complement each other and can be in harmony. We don't have to be saying the same exact message to be in harmony. So I just wanted to say that, and I agree with Gilbert. There's different needs in the community, and I've got a different flavor, and you've allowed me to have that flavor. You've given me that liberty a lot, and I thank you for that.
Well, no, that's what I wanted everyone to do. And very seldom would I come out of the bullpen, so to speak. I wanted everyone to be the captain of this ship. But you did a good job, Linda. Thank you very much. We have got maybe about 5 or 6 minutes left, and I got to get up to the hospital. But let's go with Kurt Hatfield. Kurt, you're on with us.
Hey, Rick, thanks for taking my call. I just been on about 10 minutes. I had some family members over here got tied up. So I apologize. Okay, I heard that Pasta Bay is going to start a program on her own channel, so I know that. So the midnight, if I understand, unless I'm confused, is going to be open. You're going to look to the future maybe for somebody on the midnight show. Larry Wayne with a mute button would be the answer. Thank you, Rick.
Well, if Larry Wayne is willing to do some technical maneuvering, yeah, you have to be a little technical. It is, because then, see, I can step away and they can do it on their own. So we'll see what happens. But thank you, Kurt, for that suggestion. All right. So I think that's just about it. Yes. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
I just wanted to tell you that I'm one of the ones who's like you say. And I remember, like Joe Mays, I remember when we had the conference call, and that was about the time I was really getting out of the watchtower. And I've been listening off and on ever since the show started. And it was just like a walk down memory lane a minute ago when you were talking about everybody. I used to be really close to Joe Mason and several of the people who have passed away. But you've given me a family, something I didn't have any more of, because I grew up in the watchtower, and that's all the friends I had. And I was devastated, even though I knew it wasn't the truth. Losing all of my friends was very difficult. And you brought so many people into my life, as well as I'm sure thousands of other people. And I even remember when I was thinking back then you might be able to hang it up then, but you didn't. You stayed with it. And I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I love the family that you've helped me to have. And I don't know where I would be without Six Springs.
Well, thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that comment. I know you enjoy it. I really, really know that. And these are things I took into consideration of just letting all of the programs go. It says you can't do it. A lot of people depend on this. I got numerous emails this morning. Rick, you saved my life. The 6 screens saved my life. I couldn't believe it. People are going to commit suicide. They were writing me this morning. So how do you really drop something like that? You got to maneuver around it and even make it better in the future, right? Thank you, Debbie. Okay, let's go.
Okay, sorry,
We got Sandra from the United Kingdom. Sandra, go ahead. What's up?
sorry to be rude, jump in, but I really just wanted to say thank you very much. So I don't listen to your program through the night because, well, in the UK, well, I need to go to sleep. But I listen to your programs all day on Sunday, and your programs have been, because I'm on my own, and they've saved me from loneliness on a Sunday. I just wanted to say thank you to you and everybody that's a part of Six Screens, because for 3 years you've helped me to recover from the trauma of leaving the Watchtower. And one thing that sometimes people, the XJW community is wonderful, but sometimes people are not so wonderful. They can be so rude, so disrespectful. And on the Six Screens, when I see some people being incredibly disrespectful to you, it really it upsets me so much that I have to take a break for a couple of weeks. It affects my mental health only because I don't understand why people can be so disrespectful and so rude to somebody who not only do you do all of this for free, you actually take out of your own pocket.
What's the matter, baby? What's the matter? What? Look at that, Chico.
Oh, hold on here. Okay.
Oh, it's all
All right. Well, thank you very much, Sandra. So thank you very much,
I
Sandra.
think somebody was a dog and they didn't realize that unmuted.
Yeah. All right.
Because
Okay. Well, anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here, right? I gotta get up to the hospital. My wife up there, the doctor just called. They're gonna admit her, so I gotta get up there and answer some questions for them. But I want to thank everyone that has come into the special program today. The Six Screens is going to get stronger. Every once in a while, we make some adjustments. I'm going to bring one more. I'm going to bring one more caller in. I see David, my good friend David out of New York. David, come on. Say hello to me.
Hey, Rick. How are you?
Good.
Here.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I want to tell you how important you are because, again, I had certain people in my life who have made changes, helped me make changes, and you were one of them. Hope the best for you. I hope the best for your wife. I hope the best for this channel. It's sad that not everyone can get along, but Rick, I'm just letting you know that as important as it was to get to know the witnesses and study with them, it was equally as important to actually know you and get to hear your story. And I really hope that you always stay in touch with me. Et cetera. And I apologize to anybody in the audience that ever took my questions as cruelty or disrespect, but that wasn't the intention. And Rick, I just wish you the best with the best.
Well, thank you. I'll be in touch with you. I'm not quitting here, so we'll be in touch. Don't you worry. Thank you, David.
Thanks, sir.
All right, then there you have it. Well, friends, now you're right up to speed on what's going on the Six Screens Telenetwork. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. And I want to thank everyone that came in and called in. And you really encouraged me. And I got laying down last night. I'm saying, the Six Screens has helped a lot of people. And they'd be very disappointed. So we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it up and we're going to move forward. We're going to keep waving that checkered flag and we're never going to let our visions die. Thank you for coming in. I'll see you next Saturday night with a brand new program, a Spanish program, 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much. Everyone, please have a good night.